Welcome to another Demarcation Media Lego review. Kind of, not really at all. We're kind of having Lego here as the main subject of the conversation, but we're not going to be really reviewing Lego today. So I want to start off, before I say anything else, I have done something very bad for this video. I have committed heresy to the Lego community. So if you are a Lego purist, I highly suggest you click away from this video now. You cover your children's eyes and ears. You just close the tab because you might be traumatized for life after watching this video. That being said, I have a question that I want to pose for today's video and will kind of be the center of our discussion today. Is Lego obsolete? Do we need Lego anymore, or are they just the biggest in the industry because they've been doing it the longest? Are there other people that do it better? So that very bad thing that I was talking about is I bought, and this is just the packaging of one of them, but I bought some boot Lego minifigures. This is the first time I have willingly bought any boot Lego aside from Mega, and I don't really count Mega as boot Lego, not anymore. They are really doing their own thing. But yeah, so they came in this packaging. I actually had filmed my unboxing of these, but my footage corrupted thanks to a very old memory card. So unfortunately, I will not be able to show that, but this is one of the packages. They come individually sealed in these right here. Some of them come with this WM Blocks logo, some of them do not. And I got everything you will see today from American Brick Store. So if at the end of this video you decide to investigate this further, this will be where you can go and check it out. So without any further ado, let's jump right in. So subject number one for this video, and this is actually a bundle I bought. I want to be clear about the prices right off the bat. This was $7, $6.99 for a pair of these Shore Troopers. Now, I love Shore Troopers. I think they're one of the coolest like Stormtrooper designs. They were a great part of Rogue One. They're just really unique and really interesting. And for $7 for a pair of them was pretty good. I want to kind of look at the quality first before we compare it to Lego. But I just want to say that right now, Lego's prices, last I checked, average for a Shore Trooper, a single Lego brand Shore Trooper, was $15 to $20+ for one figure. That is not conducive at all for army building if you even want a little squad of Shore Troopers. So that in of itself is enough to make me go, okay, let me take a look at this Shore Trooper. But what really caught my eye is the detailing on the printing. Look at this. So the helmet, first of all, the helmet has dirt lines and like stuff gunked up in the edges. The visor is done pretty well. There's a fairly obvious seam right through the middle of the helmet, and you can really feel that. So that's kind of first indication that it's not Lego. We do have the Death Star Project logo on there. And then the torso has so much stinking detail that it's literally, it's insane. Like, it's actually insane. Look at this. So we have all the dirt on the armor, then it goes down, and we have, so it looks like the figure was printed slightly bent over like this because you can see the little ammo pouch there. And then the tan, like thigh armor plates travel down. The legs have printing farther down than Lego usually does it. And as we rotate, you will see arm printing, side of leg printing. That's fantastic. And then look at this. Look at around the back. Back printing, back of waist printing, back of leg printing. Lego never ever does this. And then around this side we have the red stripe for the arm. So this is where the quality starts to get a little iffy. You can see the printing around the side, that looks great. The arm print though, it looks like the arm was in the machine incorrectly. You can see it's a bit crooked. And the rest of the detail is kind of on the front. So that's a bit of a miss. You can see this trooper doesn't have the same problem. So yeah, that's a bit of a bummer. But again, we're considering price here. $7 for the pair of them. That's really not bad. That is a disappointing error, but it's not a deal breaker yet. The other arm looks fine to me. The head, little vent thing between the two of them, they're slightly crooked, and the visor maybe is slightly crooked as well, but not bad. And then the plastic quality, you can tell just by the sheen of it hitting the figure that it's slightly lower than Lego. The arms come disconnected in the packaging, and the hands too. The hands are extremely tight. That's another thing. It's like, it's way too tight to be okay. That probably needs some modifying. And then for both of them, this arm is kind of loose while this arm feels just fine. And you can kind of see the peg looks a bit different, but you can still pop it in and out just fine. You can easily tighten stuff, so it's not a big deal. But again, few slip-ups that typically I wouldn't expect of Lego, but these days Lego's quality seems to be declining, and I'll talk more about that later. But looks-wise, these are really, really good. That one error is the main glaring one. And then, like I said, the hands are too tight and probably need sanding, and the arm on this side for both of them is loose. In addition, they come with, I think these are E22 blasters. Now, I don't know if this design is original or if it was stolen from, say, Clone Army Customs or Brick Arms, but it looks really good, and it fits in the figure's hand nicely. The figure can hold it nicely as well. The stock really does not get in the way, and it's really, really accurate. So now, with all that said, I want to bring in the official Lego Shore Trooper, and just, I want you to take a look for a second. Look back and forth. Imagine paying $7. Well, actually, it would be more like $3 for one and $20 for the other. Which one are you going to pick here? The Lego Shore Trooper is not a bad figure. I'm not saying it's a bad figure at all, but the comparison, like detail-wise, gets really difficult to want to get the Lego one when there's this guy for cheaper. The helmet, you can see the difference in the visors. The bootlegs visor is wider, and the Lego one is kind of thinner. And then the Death Star symbol is a bit more small on the official Lego one and kind of orangish. But like, look at this. No printing around the sides. The printing around the back is really limited, and it's just kind of inferior looking. One final point that I want to make about the Shore Trooper before we move on is the fact that the weapon is accurate, and Lego for some reason has like this huge aversion to making any new weapons for the Star Wars line, and they just keep reusing old ones, which to a degree I think is fine, because at this point this blaster is just a classic and can stay around for a while. I don't really have any problems with that, but for this, Lego decided to use this, and really the only similarities here is the fact that there are two barrels, and other than that, there is no accuracy at all, and it's not even black. Lego put it in gray just because they happen to have a lot of gray. So in terms of quality, I think the bootleg is a couple steps below Lego in terms of plastic, but and print quality slightly, you can see the crookedness, but for the most part, I would say that the bootleg has a couple points above the Lego one in terms of accuracy and detail. I don't know how this plastic lasts over a long time though, so that could be a point knocked off if this degrades quicker than Lego. By far, one of the most expensive types of Lego minifigures is Clone Troopers. The Captain Rex, Phase 2 Captain Rex, goes for sometimes a couple $100s, and the original Wolf, which was the Clone Wars style, not this style, goes for probably $100 at least as well. So that's just a huge market for things like that. And then Lego hasn't touched a Wolf in this style. This is styled basically after the Sideshow / Hot Toys figure, kind of more realistic live action look to the armor, and it caught my eye because again, Wolf is expensive and they haven't done anything like this before. This guy matches the Attack of the Clones troopers, both the newer ones in the helmet style and also the older ones in this sort of style right here. So I wanted to take a look at him, and he, right off the bat, was pretty impressive to me. One of the first things I noticed was the white is really pale on the gray, especially the helmet, but also some on the legs as well. However, I have a hard time really knocking any points off of this bootleg for that, because Lego has the same problem. They've had it for years and they refuse to fix it. Only sometimes will they get the white on a dark color correct. Most of the time they just go, whatever, and they just print it looking like this. So this is about on par with what Lego would do. The white is a little bit crooked, like the wolf crest is slightly off to the side, which is not noticeable at first, but once you look at it for a bit, you can see it. The torso is printed surprisingly well. It matches the actual Lego clones pretty darn solidly, I would say, in terms of like print quality. The arms, the printed arms look fantastic. We have the wolf logo and all sorts of detail. The black, notice that we have printing on the side of the torso as well, underneath the arms, around the back. We've got the belt. We got more symbols on that side. And we have a cloth comma. Now the design is not exactly like Lego's official ones, because you can kind of slide them out of the way like that, which is interesting, but I don't know if it's entirely purposeful. However, they do have a gray line and a holster printed on each side, and then you can see the legs underneath, which also have side leg printing and back leg printing. All looks really good. Now this wolf came with a couple options, because I bought this on Etsy from the American Brick Store, but their website also has these same options. Come on. There we go. See, that can get kind of annoying if you have it slid out. And actually, while I'm on that, he pops in half fairly easily. Again, you can fix it, but that is how he is right out of the package. As I was saying, you get options. I chose the options to get the two DC, I believe these are DC 17s, which look fantastic. Again, don't know if they're stolen design from Clone Army Customs or something, but they fit the figure so well, look really accurate, so nice. And he also came with other things. So by default, he would have come with, and they still included it, a pair of the Lego Tiny Blaster pistols and a, what is this, a DC 15? The normal clone trooper gun, which is super cool. I really like that option to have him, you know, just wielding the normal clone gun. It looks really cool, really accurate. And randomly an extra hand, whoops, and I just flung it way out into my studio. Extra hand for like no reason. And then one of these like sun visor things, so pop that off. These fit on decently well. There was a fair amount of excess plastic stuck to bits of it, but you can kind of cut those off. This was a bit of a pain the last time. Also, I'd like to point out, while we're on the back side of this, the back of the helmet has print, which is something Lego never does. There you go. Now he's got the visor. It does stick up a bit. However, when Lego has these on their clone troopers, it goes way down like that. That's kind of how the Lego official ones happen. So having it like this, I feel like is maybe preferable, at least in my opinion. That's kind of subjective. But obviously the antenna is more accurate for Rolf, so we're going to put that back on him. Yeah, see, that's a little frustrating. Underneath, we do have a head. Not horrible, not the best either. And then just again, comparison. There again, I don't have a wolf to compare to, but this is a Clone Trooper Lieutenant with a similar design. There's just way more detail on wolf, very comparable all around. And then you can see the Lego print cuts off midway through, but the wolf helmet has it printed all the way around to the back, and the Lego one does not. Same goes for this Phase 1 shiny right here. However, I totally think that having a whole squad of these Phase 1 shinies behind Wolf would be fantastic, and I'm actually going to do that for some photos. So this Wolf is essentially the only way to get a Wolf in this style, and for $8 or $7, I think either one, I don't remember, he was 7 or 8, but for that, it's really good with the level of detail, the amount of accessories, compared to the 100+ that is Legos. One quick final note about Wolf. The Shore Troopers came with bootlegs of the normal Lego stand. Wolf came with this extra large one, which is interesting and potentially an original design by these bootleggers, but I'm not 100% sure about that. So this last figure represents a type of figure that is basically characters that Lego has never touched and probably never will. So those of you who have watched the original Clone Wars, no, not like season 1 or the pilot or even the movie. I'm talking about the original 2003 Clone Wars. You will remember the best clone trooper of all time, ARC Trooper Fordo, Captain Fordo, the guy that proceeded to just go full Doom guy on the battle droids and just wreck all of them. So Lego's never done a Fordo. They probably never will do a Fordo. Unfortunately, I would be shocked if they did. But thankfully, the bootleggers have us covered with this absolutely fantastic rendition. The big things that stick out to me that are weird are, first of all, the line near the top, like you can see the line is kind of fuzzy on some of the sides, which is not great. I mean, you can see it's kind of pinkish on that side. Not great, but also not unexpected. And then the gray visor. I believe that was because since this guy is in live action style, they wanted to make the visor look like this visor with the silver, but they didn't want to print the silver, which is a little odd. However, it is not a deal breaker at all. You can see the design is very similar. Got a stripe all the way through. The stripe is a little like crookedy there, but otherwise is pretty solid. The black line for the top rim goes all the way around, and you can see on the back more black. Arm printing, of course. He's got a comma, which is a cloth one, unlike what Lego insists on doing now, which is these stupid little printed lines that are not at all okay. It's stupid. What Lego does is stupid. This is how commas should be done, and these ones do allow you to kind of puff it out a little bit, as I showed earlier, which is kind of neat. And it does have the holsters on it and a red line this time. Again, just like Wolf, we have printing around the sides. We have a pauldron up here, printed the rest of the pauldron, and then there is leg print and back of leg print and all of that. He's got an antenna, and then he has his specialized DC-15s, which are kind of like extra long. Quality wise, pretty solid overall. Joints are pretty nice. This hand is a little loose, and when I say loose, it actually like bobbles up and down, which is a problem. That needs some glue in there to help fix that, but the joints are pretty tight. Leg joints are decent as well, and underneath he does have a head that is actually kind of comparable to the official Lego ones. You can see it's a little longer looking and a little stretched, although I have gotten a couple of these. Like this one's actually printed down too low. Here, I have another one on hand. Like, look at this. Come on. Yeah, that one on the left is printed too low, so maybe this one's a better comparison. But yeah, that's kind of another example of what I was saying of like Lego's quality control kind of slipping, because I don't know, there's a lot of variation and stuff like that in heads nowadays. So in addition to all of this, we get the antenna and whatnot. The seller gave some other guns. So I got the upgraded guns, obviously, because I wanted the more accurate ones. The seller gave these, though, if you wanted just the base ones. They're 2 pieces put together. You get a extra hand, oddly, a hard plastic comma like the original Clone Wars ones, if you want that in place of the cloth one. I chose the cloth one because it's got the red and it allows for more posing. And then there's another helmet included. So this was actually on him in the package, and then I got this helmet in a little Ziploc with all the rest of the guns. I don't understand this. This is just like a red clone trooper helmet. The stripe on Fordo is always supposed to go all the way down through the head. This one stops up here. Don't really know why this one is included, but I mean, it's cool and it looks pretty nice. And honestly, this quality feels nice too. So I'm not really going to complain. I'm not really going to complain about that at all. Now I want to circle back around to my original question. Is Lego obsolete? And in addition to that, I want to introduce the question of, is it even ethical to purchase these bootlegs in the first place? Now, in terms of the first question, Lego's quality has been slipping for a while now. Figures seem to crack quicker. Lego makes more and more lazy choices. For example, the printed commas, and they usually give some weird bogus reason of like, oh, the figure can't sit down while using a comma. That's actually not true at all. You totally can make the figure sit down with the cloth on. I've done it with my Rex all the time. It's not a problem. It is just as cheaper. And they do stuff like this is not one of them, but put the clone captain, the one that came in the set with this dude, as a clone pilot when they could have just made a clone pilot. They do things like upgrade and make Stormtrooper helmets more expensive and horrible looking when the previous design was perfection. Like, look at that. That's so good. And the modern one looks really bad. Now, I know there are some people that like this Stormtrooper helmet, but I think the general consensus is this newer one is just bad. I mean, you can't turn the head at all, but you can turn the head for this guy at least a little bit from side to side. This guy gets like nothing. And this is dual molded, which I'm pretty sure by default means that it's more expensive. I just don't understand. They slip. And now I'm not trying to just say Lego is horrible. And I know a lot of people would want to, or a lot of you guys in the Mega community would want to hop on Lego's back and be like, the Lego's horrible. But I'm not saying Lego's horrible. They have a lot of good things going for them, but they are slipping. And I think they are letting their quest for money get in the way of making good sets. So now the second part is it ethical to actually purchase these figures? Because first of all, I don't know what the working conditions are like. The working conditions for the people making these are probably not great because these are made in China. So we could be supporting something not very good in that regard. However, not purchasing them, I don't know, is going to make a difference in that regard. However, these are not official Star Wars figures. They are not licensed. So they're technically stolen property. Now, I don't know if the designs on the figures are decal sheets that were made available online, or if they're original designs made by the companies that printed these up. Same with the blasters. I don't know if those were from Clone Army Customs or Brick Arms, or if they made them themselves. So the majority of what you're looking at here could be essentially stolen designs all put together to make these really nice looking figures. That causes a bit of a conundrum for those of us who want to purchase it. Something like this little gun right here, this could be a stolen design, and we could be supporting the people that are stealing designs. So this video doesn't quite have a solid conclusion. I find these really interesting. They are good enough quality that they will work in my photos, and I am pretty happy with them for the most part, especially for the price. But there are those questions of, should we buy it? I know in China there's a lot of legal gray area that allow people to get away with stuff. But we weren't happy as a Mega community when a factory in China decided to use Mega's molds to make inferior products. Now these ones aren't inferior per se, but still. It's the principle behind just taking something that's not yours and profiting from it. And are we supporting that when we purchase these figures here? So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments. If you are a Lego purist and you've made it to the end here, I would like to hear your thoughts as well. Just everybody, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let's continue the conversation in the comments, but let's keep it a constructive conversation. Let's not use this as an opportunity to bash one company or another, or one fan base or the other. Let's actually have a discussion. Like, is Lego being overtaken by these bootleg competitors? I've heard rumors on Reddit that had the Lego community panicking that there were bootlegs that were so close to Lego's quality that you couldn't tell the difference. These are obviously not them because they are way too detailed to pass as Lego. But it's sort of the same idea. Plastic quality is getting close, and the figures look really good. However, I will say definitively that right now, Lego and Mega are both still better at the built sets. There are these bootleg sets out there, and typically those pieces come warped or messed up or just don't have great clutch power. So in terms of the actual buildable part, Lego is still superior to the bootlegs. But in the figure department, I'm not really sure. There are still a ton of really horrible, really stupid looking, really just poorly put together bootlegs, but then you get these gems right here. And there are a bunch of different ones. There are shiny clone troopers that match these guys. There's Rex, Cody, Keeley, all kinds of different characters. There's some tank troopers, or like the whatever one Mando dressed up as. There's Revan. So I'm definitely going to investigate this more. If you'd like to see me review more of these bootlegs, let me know. And yeah, down in the comments, let me know your thoughts. Is Lego being overtaken by its competitors, or are they still going to remain the top of the food chain when it comes to building blocks and minifigures? Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.